Hi guys, welcome back to Cernys Kids. We're going to do a virtual road trip to Tennessee today.
All right, that's right. We're going to go to Tennessee. All right, if you haven't gotten it already, go to cernysjourneys.com and print off your map. There's a link for it on the homepage, as well as a link to the blog article so you can follow along with our journeys or create your own. All right, guys, let's talk about Tennessee. Find it on your map.
Right.
All right, perfect. So Tennessee was the 16th state to join the U.S. in 1796. It's considered the volunteer state. The capital is Nashville. However, the biggest city is Memphis. The borders are Kentucky, Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Missouri. So it is landlocked, as you can see. You got a dark purple there, love bug. Today we're going to start with going to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Because why? We love our national parks, don't we?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about the Great Smoky Mountains. So it was visited. Let me speak again. It was the most visited national park. It's had 12.5 million visitors. That's a lot of visitors. And it is between Tennessee and North Carolina. It's between the Blue Ridge Mountains and the larger of the Appalachian mountain chain. So if you look right here, babies, right here. All right, so it's got the highest mountains in eastern North America. So kind of cool, huh?
Yeah.
All right, so another cool thing about it is the Appalachian Trail passes right through the Smoky Mountains. So the Appalachian Trail runs from Maine all the way to Georgia. So kind of cool too. It's got 522,419 acres. Can you imagine?
That's
a lot. Yep. And the main entrance in Tennessee is actually in Gatlinburg, so we should go sometime. I know your daddy's hiked there, if I'm not mistaken. I've been there, but it's been so long I don't know if I hiked or not. But regardless. But I want to tell you something really, really cool about it, because I know Cora, our lover of all animals, would love this. So did you know that the Great Smoky Mountains is also the salamander capital of the world? Do you know what a salamander is?
No.
No. That's a salamander. So the park has over 30 different species of salamander.
Oh,
and so,
I bet you would find a lot.
I know. So a salamander is an amphibian, which means it goes in water. And it kind of is a cross between a frog and a lizard. And so it has a slender body, and it has blunt snouts, so they're short snouts, and they have like short little arms and legs, short, and they have a tail. Yeah, you've been a salamander, and I used to love salamanders. Grandma will have to tell you some salamanders stories.
I like sloths.
Sloths. Well, we're not even talking about. Remind Grandma to tell you the salamander story about how I used to think that they were alligators and bring them inside. She was not happy with me. Remind me to call her after this and ask her. So they normally about 6 inches long, so they're pretty small. And they mostly live in the forest. So the Great Smoky Mountains is a great place for them to live. And they actually do eat worms and insects, some slugs and snails, and sometimes they do eat vegetation too. So kind of neat. And in fact, I bet we have salamanders here. I think we've actually seen some on our walk.
What?
I know, I bet we do. We have woods in our backyard. We probably have salamanders too. We'll go looking for them. Anyways, so let's move along. We're going to move along to Graceland. Graceland is in Memphis. And Graceland is known because of Elvis Presley. Did we talk about Elvis Presley earlier?
No.
Yes, we did. Elvis Presley was a singer, and an actor. And he lived from 1935 to 1977. And he was regarded as one of the most significant cultural icons of the 20th century. So he was referred to as the King of Rock, or the King. So if you hear someone say the King, normally they're talking about Elvis or Elvis Presley. And so some of his popular songs were
Jailhouse Rock.
Jailhouse Rock,
Jailhouse Rock.
Don't Be Cruel,
Don't Be Cruel.
Hound Dog, I'm All Shook Up is another one. Remember we watched him and we were watching him dance?
Yeah.
And you were dancing too, weren't you?
Yeah.
You want to dance like Elvis?
I can't.
He was known for those provocative moves, because at that point in time you really weren't supposed to be doing those moves. So anyways, Graceland was his mansion, and it's on 13.8 acres in Memphis. You can actually go to Graceland, their website, which will be down below in the description, and you can take a virtual tour of Elvis's house. Some other cool things that you might see if you go on there. He had an airplane, and he had gold seatbelts in his airplane.
What?
Yep. He had a pink Cadillac.
What's that?
A pink Cadillac.
What's a Cadillac?
It's a car. He had a pink Cadillac. So all of these things, if you go on,
He must have been rich.
he was very rich, very rich. So, and he died pretty young too. So he left a lot. But anyways, the last place we're gonna stop. And Jamin, I'm going to probably let you pitch in and talk a little bit about this, because this is...
Titanic.
Yep, we're going to go to the Titanic in Pigeon Forge. Yep, so we are going to talk a little bit about the Titanic. Jamin, do you want to talk about the Titanic for a minute before I fill in all the gaps?
So, if you didn't know, the Titanic actually had two sisters. Okay, so one of their names was the Britannic. One of their names was... And then... Another one of their names was the Olympic.
Very good. And so the Titanic, it was a British passenger liner, cruise liner, that was owned by White Star, right? And White Star was in, remember what town we were in where we saw White Star, where the corporate building was?
Liverpool?
In Liverpool, that's right.
It crashed in an igloo.
So, kinda. So the Titanic actually was only in service for 5 days, because it ported out of Southampton, which is in the United Kingdom, in England.
And then it was planning to travel to New York.
Correct.
But it didn't make it to New York.
And why didn't it make it?
Because it hit an iceberg.
It hit an iceberg, and then it sunk, right?
It igloo.
Yep. So it left England on April 10th, I believe it was, and it crashed into an iceberg the early morning hours of April 15th, and that was in 1912, so a little 108 years ago. And so it had about 3,500 people on it when it sunk. And so that's the hard part. They don't know how many people for sure, because there was a lot of people who were late cancellations. So they really don't know for sure. But the death toll is probably somewhere around 1,500 people that died in that wreck. And so if you go on to the Titanic Pigeon Forge, again, this information will be down below in the description, you can go and do a virtual tour of the museum. Jamin watched a few of them, didn't you? And so they'll take you through some of the history, they'll take you through the museum and show you some exhibits, which is really cool. So that will conclude our virtual road trip to Tennessee. There is literally so much to talk about in Tennessee, it was hard to pick. And so another resource I'll provide to you is the Tennessee Tourism Bureau information, because they have a ton of great virtual experiences right available at your fingertips on their website, where you can go and experience a whole bunch of different things in Tennessee. So I really love it when the tourism bureaus really give that to you, because it's some really cool things right there, and you don't have to go searching for it. I did just a little bit more than I probably should have, because I kind of like doing the research. But other things you can look into are some of the zoo, the Discovery Museum, guitar museum, and so on and so forth. So a lot of good things you can find there too. All right, guys, so that concludes our trip to Tennessee. What'd you think?
Fun. Good.
All right, join us again tomorrow for our next state. All right, thanks everyone. Like and subscribe.
Guys, make sure to like and subscribe.
Thumbs up.
Bye.
Bye.